moving on. I want to talk to you guys now about, I'm going to shove some Bitcoin content at you, but not really. I'm going to shove it to you not shove it, I guess is the right word. I'm going to present it to you with a little bit more of, well, we need something to do this. And so what would you use to do this? So I want to start out with the Permaculture Designer's Manual. And again, when this was written, the internet was in diapers. Like it was, I don't even know if it was in diapers yet. It hadn't a cord cut yet as an infant, right? It was there, but maybe you weren't even far out enough yet to be sure if it was a boy or a girl. And so there was no Bitcoin, cryptocurrencies, no blockchains, no nothing. So what I'm about to show you, it predates all this. And so this is from a presentation. That's me weighing a lot more than I weigh now at Permaculture Voices, I think in 2013, somewhere around there, presenting. And I'll try to find this presentation for you and put a link to it in the notes if I remember to do so. But there are two excerpts from Chapter 14 of the Permaculture Designer's Manual. And Chapter 14 is Alternative Strategies for a New Global Nation, which some people get all hairy about and think it's like the New World Order. It's exactly the opposite. It's autonomy at the regional level where people run their own thing. It is anarchy. It's organized anarchism is what Chapter 14 is all about. And so 14.1, this is an excerpt from 14.1. Thus, the very first strategies we need are those that put our own house in order and at the same time do not give credibility to distant, power-centered, or unethical systems. So in other words, we need to get our own shit together, but we don't need to give power to people doing things we find to be unethical. That's called taxation. Like I shared a video, I hated sharing it, but it's the truth. I shared a video of Turkish-backed moderate rebels using drones provided to them through NATO, which means our money, to bomb a church ceremony this weekend. Your money paid for that. So our first strategies need to not give credibility or power to systems like that. Okay, that's all done through the tax system, the banking system, etc. 14.4. And I did this presentation in, like I said, like 2014. So what we're going to talk about didn't exist when I did this presentation and put it together. I didn't make this fit the other thing. 14.4. Systems of government are currently based on self-interest, economic pragmatism, belief, impractical theory, and power-centered minorities. Religious, military, capitalist, communist, familiar, or criminal. Almost all groups set up competitive and adversary-oriented systems. In other words, the hegemony maintains its power by having a small elite group using some ideology. And Bill Mollison in this is like old man driving the bus over everybody. Capitalist, communist, like when somebody criticizes modern capitalism, well, you're a commie. No. What he's saying is it's not the IST. It's the system using the IST to its own end based on the propensity of the majority in the system, what they will believe, what propaganda you can dump down their throats. And you have to set up a competitive, adversary-oriented organization to maintain control. Because if everybody can get along and not bother each other, like even if you and I don't get along, but we have our own little groups, we get along when we have to at the edge, and we don't really see each other as a problem, we don't need them. This is what comes next. I had to take two pictures to fit this in because this is a long vertical page. But this is an economic system designed under permaculture in Chapter 14. And at the top, it says you started with 2 or 3 people start this. And then it grows from there. And you'll look right down on the left side, the informal side, there's a let system for a bioregion. Lets are basically a local exchange currency. Okay, so that is us printing our own money. And then we exchange our own money. So we have our little farmer's market. We go there, and instead of using dollars, we use 9 Mile Farm credits or something like that, right? Like we have the 9 Mile community on 9 Mile Road where I live, right? And it's not 9 Mile Farm. It's the 9 Mile community script, right? And then we have regionals. We have small business services. We have venture capital. We have an ethical stock exchange. And you'll notice that if you look on the right side of the screen, you'll see where it says external trade. It's literally the last option. Now, it doesn't mean that going outside of our bioregion is the last option. We federate with other bioregions that are running their own autonomous systems through our own banking system. That is the vision that's being presented here by Bill Mollison. The problem is it wasn't doable. There's a ton of stuff in there on how to set up trusts, how to protect property for the community, et cetera, to do it all privately. And some of that can be done, but this really couldn't work when Bill came up with this. There's no way to do this because how do we have bioregion A and B, 9 mile community, and holler community with Nicole Sauce do business between each others with our individual unique local currency? How do we create a banking system that people have confidence in and that they'll use currency within? Because the currency can go out and do that external trade, which to transition to this, you're not going to start with this. This is a goal. So you're going to start with as much internal trade as you can do, very small. And then your external trade is going to be the majority. And the more you can do internally, the less you need the outside for. And then the more of these entities that create themselves exist, the more you can federate with them. It's an important word, Fed, because not every time you hear Fed, are we talking about Federal Reserve or the federal government? Federation is a good thing. Federation means you and I have a federation, a certain agreement that we interact on, but we have our own autonomy. That's why we're supposed to be a federal republic as the United States. That's the autonomy of the state. Imagine creating thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of federated individual groups. You have to have a banking system. You can't do this without a banking system. And that banking system cannot be everybody has their own crypto wallet and exchanges cryptocurrency. I don't care if it's Bitcoin. I don't care if it's Federation coin. I don't care what it is. I don't care if it's Troll. It doesn't matter. The complex nature of a banking system does things beyond enabling me to pay you. That's the easy part. Loans, insurances, escrowed things for contracts. Banks actually, now they're self-serving in the way that they do it, and they're controlled by the elite, but they do perform a function. How about something as simple as a revolving line of credit? What's that? I used to have one when I ran companies with employees. I had to make payroll every week. If I didn't make payroll, my people would walk out on me. I just assumed jump out the window before I failed to make payroll. And there were times in a normal business cycle where we would have dry periods. And as long as we could show our bank, look, this happened last year, it happened the year before, it happened the year before that. This happens every year about this time. We are basically going to use our line of credit as a bridge loan. And here's our forecast for it. We already have money coming in. We already have stuff on our accounts receivable. We've already taken, then you just use that revolving line of credit. You paid your employees. On the other backside of it, you return that. How are you going to do that without something that's at least like a banking system? So what we need, and this seems impossible to create, something that actually functions this way, that we as individuals maintain control of. And that when we put our money in it, we can take it out and we can do business inside it with privacy. That seems hard to do in the world that this was written in. Okay. This is about a thing called mini mints. And this is on, I think, blockchain, or I'm not sure where it is, but there's a link to it in the show notes. I'm just going to read. These are two sections I pulled out of the article. You can read the rest for yourself. We are proud to announce our sponsorship of Mini Mint, a project in development that brings the technology of blinded federated mints. That means that this federated mint and this federated mint that are acting as intermediaries don't know what's on the other side. Privacy, okay? Or charming banks to Bitcoin. Federated mints are a natural complement to existing scaling solutions like the Lightning Network and Liquid Sidechain. Families or communities may prefer federated mints for a more local and streamlined Bitcoin banking experience where running your own node or using a fully centralized custodial service is neither available nor wanted. In addition to providing community-focused custody solutions with the Bitcoin ecosystem, federated mints preserve the privacy of members' identities and wallet balances and transaction histories automatically through the use of blind signatures. Mints on Lightning. Users are currently limited in their choice when using Lightning, either self-host or rely on a centralized hosting service. For many, running their own Lightning node and wallet is either too much of a technical challenge or altogether unavailable due to their unique living situation. With the integration of Lightning into federated mints, users have access to a trust minimized and privacy conscious wallet solution right from the start. By adopting, I'm going to need to change my layout here so I can read the rest of that, guys. So let's get full view. Just apologize for those of you that don't know what's going on the. By adopting Bolt protocols, Lightning-enabled mints would remain interoperable with the broader network, creating a standardized model that is not only secure, blinded, and fungible, but overall better suited for mass adoption. As we move closer to hyper-Bitcoinization and more communities like Bitcoin Beach begin to adopt Lightning for everyday purchases, custody models like federated mints will be essential to the success of onboarding and scaling. By localizing and having certain anonymization measures built in, mints can preserve privacy, enable censorship resistance, and build a flexible payment system with no single point of failure. So that might sound like a bit of word salad to some of you. So let me give you kind of how that actually makes Chapter 14 doable. You would not say, I'm going to keep all my Bitcoin in a mini mint in our federated community. You would have a hard wallet with your Bitcoin. You would probably still use, for things outside of your community, something like Wallet of Satoshi with $150 at any given time. That's your pocket money. This becomes a checking account. A checking account that can't be shut down. A checking account that if you shut down the mint, right? And I hate the word mint here, by the way. I don't think mint is the right word for this. I would call it more like regional banking. But if you shut it down, then the money just pushes back to you. You can take it out anytime you want. No one knows who you are. Because if we're going to have things go on like this company do business with this company, or this co-op do business with this co-op, or these co-ops buy from this entity collectively to get better pricing than any of the co-ops could themselves, which would be one way this is a virtual nation. I've been talking about virtual nations since 2014. This is it. This is how you do this. So now there's no complication. Everybody's using the same underlying currency. We can even build stable coins on this as well so that we can have less volatility in it, right? With the underlying pinnings in Bitcoin to make it more stable long term. But then 9 Mile Co-op, Holler Roast Co-op, scrambling stuff up in Washington, let's call it Food Forest Farms Co-op. Like instead of one of those co-ops with all of our people saying, hey, we all want to go in together on feed from this great feed mill that's over in Atlanta and have semi trucks come in. We can go, well, actually we have 3, 4, 5, 6 locations for delivery. We need a truck to each one. What can you do for us on price? You are not going to do that with it. But my self-custody, I am so pro self-custody. But not for that. Not when we're moving up to a point where we're using the leverage of the number of people that have federated together to negotiate a price or a service or a contract. That's just one example. I could keep going. I don't want to turn this, I need to do a whole show on this as a Bitcoin breakout episode. I want to start, and this is why I started Bitcoin Breakout. I want to start showing the Bitcoin community, the overlap with the prepper community, the homesteading community, the regenerative agriculture, the health, the nutrition, all of it. And it's already working, guys. I'm already seeing people in Fountain boosting me. And I can tell, by their name and whatever, they're not TSP people. They're Bitcoin people. They found Bitcoin Breakout. And then they're boosting me for, Friday's show on, the mental philosophy that we discussed. The world's changing. It's changing right now. And I encourage you, if you're a holdout on it, stop worrying about Bitcoin as a thing. Stop worrying about is number going to go up or number going to go down. Look at the tech. This is where it gets exciting. Buying Bitcoin and holding Bitcoin is boring. I think it's a great wealth strategy, but it's boring. You just do it and you get diamond hands and you don't sell because you're scared and you just keep doing it over time, just like dollar cost averaging into the stock market, except I think it's a better long-term play. But a technology that enables the type of shit I'm talking about right now. And is it going to be this version of it? No, but that's the beauty. It's a layered solution. So if this isn't right, you don't need a new token. You don't need a new coin. You need a new model. And models can be changed But your underlying hard money, if it can be changed, it's not hard money. This tech is going to change everything. On my birthday, August 2nd, next week, I'm doing a panel discussion. Brian Harrington from Choice Capital, Guy Swan from Bitcoin Audible, and me are going to discuss layer 3 solutions, which like Fountain is a layer 3 solution. You have Lightning, and then on top of Lightning, you have Fountain allowing value for value exchange between podcasters. Layered sounds complicated. Layer 1 is Bitcoin, layer 2 is Lightning. Like it sounds all techie, but it's real simple. You build the underlying thing, then you build a payments network on top of it, then you build an app on top of the payments network. So like I said, and if you guys didn't hear it yet, when I said it, imagine Waze, the Waze navigation app, where you can report road hazards. There's a cop here writing tickets and shit like that. And then think of how blockchain works. Like you have confirmations. So Adam's hauling ass down I-20 and he happens to see John Law. John Law doesn't get him. He slows down. He picks up his Waze app and boom, there's a cop. And then all of a sudden, like K-Bonk's right behind Adam and he sees the alert. There's a cop. So he slows down and he hits, I saw it too, confirmed. And then Canadian Farmstead's behind K-Bonk and he sees it confirmed. And after like 3 or 4 confirmations, and the vehicles have to be in the location to have been able to confirm. That's all built into the system already. It's a confirmed thing. And then if you've ever used Waze, you'll see like there's a road hazard. It'll say, is it still there? And you say it's clear. When it's clear, the cop's gone. He went somewhere else. Okay, now, people do this now. People do this now. It works. It saved my ass twice on my way back from Tennessee because we were running and gunning on the way back, man. It saved our ass with like routing us around a problem too. Do you not think if I was sitting there with my Waze app and it shows a little flashing thing, there's going to be a cop, that I wouldn't have been like, hey man, whoever Adam is, thanks. Here's 1,000 sats. Now the app works. It's not that Adam gets the money. It's because the app is incentivized. The network effect is a better app. If that app was available right now, then Waze would have 2 choices. Integrate it themselves and use their installed base to move faster or go out of business. That's what would happen because even if you don't want the Bitcoin part, if you hear everybody saying, hey, man, this new demonetized road piracy app, it works way better than Waze. Well, you're going to use it. Even if you don't participate as someone tipping or receiving value, you're still going to use it. And if you start using it, you might be like, hey, wait a minute. Like, yeah. And this is what I've seen with this. This discussion I saw going on in the Lightning for Liberty group on Telegram. People were trying to, what else could we do to be able to give value to people? One guy wanted a coffee cup that, like, when he's drinking his holler roast, I guess, he could be like, you know what, this is a particularly good cup of coffee today. Boop. And instantly, holler roast, Nicole Sauce would get 1,000 sats. They weren't looking at how can I make more money. They were looking about how can I give more value back to people. It's a spirit of generosity. So I don't mean to soapbox you today. I don't want to push too much of it in. I am committed to bringing most of the Bitcoin technology stuff on the breakout episodes only. But this, again, this is not about Bitcoin. This is about tech. This is about sovereign technology systems. STS. Somebody's going to make a company called that now. Rip that off, right? Go ahead. I don't care. As long as you do good things with it. You know, Adam says people still need to cash out Bitcoin to use it. For now. We will see. But who cares? Who cares? What do you do with your Bitcoin? Do you spend it or do you keep it? See, and you keep it. If you're a stacker, you don't spend your Bitcoin. These systems are beautiful because what I was just saying about Strike. So if you wanted to, like you say, you know, Jack, I'd like to tip you on Fout. I'd like to tip the Permaculture Pimpcast with Billy Bond. I'd like to tip the soon to be coming Ken Berry podcast. Yeah, really. It's going to happen. We're going to wait till I tell you how that happened, but I'm not going to tell you just yet. Right. But I only got like 100 sats for listening. Well, throw $5 in there. Get the Strike app, get the Cash app, have $5 in cash, go fund wallet, copy the code, click. You're going to click receive and you're going to drop it in and it's going to basically receive an invoice and send it in seconds. You'll have like, 40, 50,000, whatever sats it is. and start giving some value away. Don't worry about what you get. Worry about what you give. Start making some clips and things like that. That's tech. That's a better system. Right now, Fountain is a baby. I got more